We are live. Welcome to my thoughts on the Alien Earth, Season 1, Episode 2, Mr. October. The episode is rated TVMA, so will this video be. There will be spoilers for everything Alien franchise leading up to and including this episode. Another episode I love. Holy crap. Yeah, let's see. I think we're gonna try to go chronologically as much as possible. I think I'll start by saying, basically everything positive I said in the first episode applies to this one as well, in case I forget to, and so that I don't have to repeat myself. Okay, let's see. So the, let's see. Yes, so the Hermit and the other two, arrive in the room, and they talk about, so I don't know if we've seen it yet, but apparently there was something that, that one guy died of like suffocation, like his lips are blue, and, there's some, holy crap. I like the thing about who's going to do surgery in the middle of a crash. It's like, I don't think that was when they did it. And, we see, I'm slightly unclear on if that was like a chest bursted, or maybe they cut him open to get the chest burster out. Yeah. Regardless of what happened, the cyborg either purposefully did it to like perform tests, or he like maybe let it happen, or I guess maybe they escaped without his doing anything, but he just wasn't, bothered, and he like possibly cut the guy open to get the. Oh, right. I wanted to note, I watched the, let's see, I think it was Council of Geeks, or maybe it was Geeks, Break Room? I forget what her second channel is, but Vera did a fantastic video talking about this episode. I haven't, but the first episode, I haven't watched the one she did on this episode yet. But she made some really solid points. You should watch that. In general, excellent YouTuber. Let's see. I think, so the, they straight up note, there's something foreign here on, our planet. It's like, alien Earth, I guess you could call it. And let's see, so they okay, I think the next bit was them going to the oh right, there's the flashback, really nicely done, one day before, and she's at first just watching, and then she makes the, face my fury, face your furry, what? And he's like, what? That was not at all what he was expecting, but she just so badly wants contact, and it is like, I guess I'm reading too much into it, so sue me. I can't help but think about all the family separation going on right now in America. Just if someone is sufficiently brown, it's terrible to separate families, and I think they do a good job. I don't know if that's what they're going for here, but sometimes it's not so bad if you can see something in there that the author didn't intend. They point out, I mean, she wasn't supposed to be able to do that, but I guess we kind of gave her the ability to hack into that robot. Also, holy shit, they are doing such a good job following up on the theme. Yes, conservative grifters, it was always the case in the Alien franchise that corporations fucking suck. They are terrible. And we already knew that they treat their employees really, the thing about, crew expendable, right there in the first movie. And then here, he can't even talk to a goddamn human being to get, he even says have a heart, which like is this kind of ironic thing, because like obviously it doesn't. It's a fucking robot, so yeah, shit, the thing's not even a cyborg. It's just straight up a robot, you know? And there's no eyes, you know, that's always been a thing in the Alien franchise. No eyes means it's much harder to relate to. And, you know, I mean, let's see. I think the first time an alien had eyes was I want to say it's called the Newborn from, you know, the white alien, the White Walker that kills the Queen and becomes obsessed with its mommy, Ripley, or the Ripley 8 by then. Um, what can I say? She was hungry. She used the fork. Um, yeah. The fact that the robot has no eyes, I do not think is an accident, because like this is a public-facing fucking thing. Like, you know, give it fucking eyes, you know, and you know, if you play something like, yeah, let's see, System Shock 2. Also, you know, make note of which robots have eyes and which do not. You know, the military grade ones, you can't really. Let's see, if I recall, you can't see their eyes, or it's just that they're very like in human kind of eyes, whereas the ones that are supposed to be like helping out, though that's not exactly what they accomplish in the game. They have like they're fake, you know, because it's a robot, but they do have like something equivalent to eyes, so that people will be okay with being near this thing, you know. So yeah, you know, lots of robots have eyes. Shit, what's the one called? And well, okay, fuck that movie, but I do think it is noteworthy that the robots in iRobot, the shitty movie, please read the book instead. You know, it's so much better. Or the unfilmed script by Harlan Ellison, like, so much better than that fucking movie. Anyway, yeah, again, eyes, you know, and a face. It's more relatable, more trustworthy. Anyway, yeah, the thing about, I have a scholarship. I could go to med school, you know, and it was my dad's dream, and the robot's just like, your dad's dead. Thanks, Mr. Sensitive. I appreciate that. Is 100% the right thing to say in the current circumstance. Maybe, yeah, I think there's a little bit of autism spectrum coding going on with this robot as well, which again I say with love. I've met dozens of people on the autistic spectrum. There are wonderful people who are on the autistic spectrum, but that does feel like something some autistic people would say in that circumstance. Let's see, but yeah, the thing about, you know, I have 7 months left, but if you could just let me go, I could go to because you know, the classes start soon, and just, I really hope he ends up getting to go to med school, but fuck, this is a very cynical franchise, so there's some chance that that's not at all going to happen. It is interesting, like, by the end of this episode, he's kind of the Newt to Wendy's Ripley, you know? That's yeah, I'm here for it. Let's see. I think that was the entire flashback. So then we have the is this when we see? Yeah, so certainly it's at some point in the episode. Some of, you know, yeah, they arrive. You know, also the thing. Okay, so what you know, what is the right the way they talk about death? So such a great, like, because these are technically in some ways still children. You know, they have the temperament and like some of the behavioral patterns that we associate with children, and the way they talk about death, you know, because they had to face their own death, and like, obviously if you don't, then you, as you know, a child might not have, you know, talk that way about death. But here we do see children understand a lot more than a lot of adults give them credit for. Yeah, you know, the just, yeah, I don't really have anything else to add there, but the thing about, you know, so what do you think? Oh, it's a secret. Shut up. And apparently, I think his name is Slightly, based on the subtitles. He is not good at keeping secrets. Like, holy crap. yeah, there's some people who are really, really relieved that Slightly was not in charge of the Epstein files, because those things would be public by now. He's just like, I know a secret about Wendy. Don't tell why I want to buy a coffin. But yeah, um, it is also one of those things. Like, it's hard to keep that secret because it's just, yeah. Um, so yes, they arrive, and yeah, gotta say that that hanging thing really giving Venus flytrap, and the part where it like starts to open and then a thing comes out and then that thing opens, and the hybrid is just standing there, not not menacingly, not not moving far away, because again, like, children, like, there's a trusting nature to a lot of kids. That's something that, by the time we reach adulthood, a lot of us have, we are less trusting. But yeah, he's clearly not ready to be dealing with something like this, right? I also like when she's like in the, she's hacking the screens, because that's like her move, her signature move. And the one of the military men's like, I'm sorry, who the fuck are you again? Like, can you just, and Oliphant takes charge. Timothy Oliphant never forgets to take charge. And the, again, we have this thing of like, yeah, let's see, the fact that, yeah, the corporations in Alien, essentially run things like. That wasn't necessarily made clear until this show, but here we do see, yeah, and, because like the discussion between Yutani and Boy Genius is practically like this bureaucratic bullshit. Like, it's like, if this wasn't like corporate ruled, the scene would be like a cop and FBI arguing over jurisdiction or something like that. Um, and yeah, when you have this sort of, yeah, they're essentially like, is it a dictatorship when there's multiple? I forget if all dictatorships have, but certainly in some ways it is similar to, clearly nobody has a right to privacy. There's cameras everywhere, so in some ways dictatorship. And yeah, under a lot of dictatorships, yeah, rank is all that matters. Like this military guy has a good point. It's like, I'm sorry, what the fuck is going on with these, and because Oliphant's character has more, has a higher rank, he's like, well, you know, you're technically taking orders from the corporation. I'm higher up on the rung than you are, higher rung on the ladder than you are, so you gotta do what as I say, because like he's looking at these, like, I mean, okay, adult bodies, but they're acting like children, and he's like, are you seriously putting people who act like children into this dangerous situation? And Kirsch, I mean, he straight up admits, like, I don't care. Like, this is, yeah, we're supposed to, we have a mission here. Nothing else matters, kind of thing. Because like asking one of them to stay and watch the Venus flytrap, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, and it's a nice bit of expectation subversion, because we really expect something to go horribly wrong there, and by the end of the episode, nothing had, yeah, he's called away from it. So yeah, let's see, but yeah, nice done on having them act as children. What the redhead is like, she made a paper airplane and then throws it at the military guy, and he's like, listen, I just fucking work here. Okay, if you're gonna get these, child-minded individuals killed, yeah. I mean, what's he gonna do? Go complain to a robot with no eyes? And I think that does bring us to, fuck me. I gotta say that jump, God, that was fucking tense. That was one of the most tense things I've seen in a while. When one of the, when the I think her name is Siberian. I think that's what they're calling, or Psy for short. Uh, when she jumps and she just barely makes it, and the part where she lands, like, shit is falling down, and she's standing there and she's like, don't you fucking drop me. Jesus Christ, that was intense. Or tense, rather. Fuck me. And then Hermit has to, and there's a little bit of drool, and he has no fucking clue what that is. We know, it's got to be the Xeno. And yeah, it's above them, and there's, and he's got the gun out, and we're like, please don't shoot, because, like, acid blood, and it climbs out. Just fuck, that was, oh my god. And he jumps, and it jumps after him, and he has to run away from it. I love that so far in these episodes. I hope they keep it up. Every single time they can do it with a practical, like a dummy or puppet or that kind of thing, they actually go for that, because there just is something to, like, the weight of it. Like, some of the visual, some of the CGI, not 100% photorealistic. Just that's too bad. I get that some of this stuff they absolutely could not do with a practical, some of these jumps and such. But yeah, he runs, chases after him. He barely gets into the elevator, and it, like, throws its weight against the door. Shit, I think is it Aliens where we see it do that as well. And at a little point we also get a POV. Very reminiscent of Alien 3. Not the biggest fan of Alien Squared, I think, it's not Cubed, right? Because that's, yeah, anyway. I do think that the POV shot was not the worst idea that movie had. It just maybe didn't handle it super well. I think they handled it great here. Also, the opening, the new opening, where we see the alien, and I love that the camera will pan across. There was in the first episode, I think I talked about it in my video on the first episode as well. But yeah, it's just because it's such a great design, and as long as you don't show the whole thing all at once for very long at a time, yeah, seeing it is not necessarily a bad thing. We don't need to build up to it for forever, like in the first movie. In that one, it was important. And that one, they also had an issue with the fact that the suit was so fucking heavy. The stuntman could barely move, and not very fast. So, I think it was... Did they use a puppet at all in the first? Certainly they do in the second one. That's part of why it's, yeah, it was much improved for the second one. James Cameron, when he isn't fucking up his own movies with AI, or giving just the worst fucking take on Wonder Woman 1, yeah, he can make some really great decisions. I think that just, let's see, what's the next thing? Shit. Some of this is going to be out of order chronologically, but yeah, him in the elevator, very tense, and she's like looking at the footage from the elevator, and it's like, oh shit, and yeah, she finds it, and then she's like, okay, which floor is this? Which floor? Again, like a child, because, like, an adult in that situation might really, or I bet, or again, you could read is as autistic spectrum. A neurotypical adult would probably be like, I'm sorry, can you tell me which floor this is? Because, like, you are talking to the fucking military. You have no rank, I'm not saying that necessarily, like, there's some horrible people in the military, and overall, I think the military should be last resort kind of thing, rather than, first move, but I'm just acknowledging that there is an expectation there. I don't necessarily think it's always fair, but the fact that Wendy is just completely ignoring that expectation, seemingly maybe not understanding it, and also not, like, I mean, again, neurotypical adult might be like, that's my brother in there, you have to help me save him, but she doesn't. And I'm not saying it doesn't, from her certain point of view, it makes perfect sense. I think, yeah, so let's see. Yeah, great, as they're going around saying, yeah, let's see, at one point, Hermit gets out of the elevator and, meets up with, like, a military person, and, they identify themselves to each other, And they start going, door to door themselves, and like, search and rescue. We're not ICE. No. Dean, super fucking asshole Kane. ICE are not first responders. Anyway, was it someone else? Anyway, fuck Dean Kane, obviously, because, I guess I have to join ICE now, because Fox News, even when they're trying to work with each other, they still fuck it up. It's like, oh, he's ICE. No, he didn't say he was ICE, and now he kind of has to join ICE. And Jesse Waters being an asshole is always like, if I recall, wasn't he the one who, like, told a fucking wrestler to his face, oh, wrestling's fake, and then, like, the wrestler attacked him? Like, I'm not saying I agree with the wrestler attacking him, but, like, the fuck did you think was gonna happen? Like, yeah, wrestling's fake. We all know it. Most of us have the good sense not to say it to the face of a fucking wrestler. Jesus Christ. And he's still being an asshole all these years later. Yeah, a lot of conservative media personalities. Complete assholes. And some of them just seemingly can't help it. Like, he's just like, talking about, oh, I guess this is good for your career, huh? Jesus Christ. Like, I'm glad that they're, it's conservative catfight is always fun. I'd rather they fight each other than, us progressives, but shit. Anyway, so they knock on the door, and I appreciate, the glass of wine in his hand is great. Like, immediately we get, and he's like, fucking costume party, and it's like, to be clear, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a costume party. Maybe when a spaceship crashes the fuck into your building, might be a decent time to... I don't mean to be a party pooper, I'm just saying. Run? But he just, like, he's... so much noise. Okay, so... This is not the first time that the Alien franchise is like, eat the rich, but, I do appreciate this episode going, no, have the xenomorph eat the rich. Again, not saying it's, eat the rich. We're not saying literally, we're not arguing for cannibalism, but yeah, Jesus fucking Christ, this guy. And I enjoyed Hermit, like, being like, fuck, and banging on the door, just like, listen, motherfucker, here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna fucking leave this building before you die for no good goddamn reason. And he's like, I'll leave when Elon Musk, Boy Cavalier, tells me personally that I should leave. So, did this guy work for Bruce Wayne maybe in Metropolis? And he's like one of the guys who's like, I'm not gonna leave until my boss tells me it's that I should. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, and he's like, I'm in the same club as Boy Cavalier. You know what? Why don't you tell the xenomorph that? Because I'm sure it would find that fascinating. Jesus Christ. And he closes the fucking door in their face just as they're explaining, you gotta get out of here, and just, Jesus Christ. Okay, I think that gets us to the laboratory. Let's go with that. So the redhead and Smee, I think is his name. Oh God, the fucking cat. So one thing that I really appreciated that Vera, Council of Geeks, brought up in her video in the first episode is that this brings back something that in some of these movies we don't always see. It's this thing of like, okay, so the xenomorph is out there. What the fuck else is out there, And yeah, the first episode, as she notes, the first episode did a great job on that. This one, I would argue, also does, because like the cat, the way it's like just off, like we can't quite see it even though it's like foreground because of the lighting. We just see some dark shape, and it's like, that's not quite a cat, is it? Because there's just something fucking off about it, even though some of the movements, and then it turns towards them, and we see the fucked up eye, and then the eye climbs out, and the cat falls over, and it's like partially like some of the back of the cat is missing, and it's like running around. It makes like 8 eyes, and it jumps, and she's like, don't get it. God damn it! It was gonna fucking, I don't know, eat her eye and then go in the socket itself and just fuck me. And it's such like, it's like one of those fucking parasites that do, like, parasites do exist in the real world, you know. Some of them are named Trump, and I'm talking more about the tiny ones though right now, but yeah, some of them will like go into the body of another thing, and oh, god damn it. Let's see. There was a video. I don't know if I haven't checked in a while. I don't know if all the old College Humor stuff is still up, but shit. I forget the name of it though. Shit. But there was a video about like, you know, horrifying creatures that just, yeah. Right. I also wanted to note. Shit. What was it called again? The dangerous philosophy of ex machina, and why it's more relevant than ever. And I want to say it was Final Girl Digital who made it. Excellent YouTuber. But yeah. Yes, relevant indeed. Relevant to this episode as well. Yeah. Right. Note that it spoils Ex Machina. Anyway, I think. Shit, I forget right now, but I think that was the that was part of it. Anyway, yes, they managed to get it under the thing, and then put the microscope, telescope, periscope on top of it, and then like dude gets super clingy. I guess that the eye parasite is rubbing off on him. Seriously though, yeah, I do that too. Like, don't do, and each time that he's like trying to move away from it, she's like, don't do that, you know. And she's sitting there just with a knife, and is like, yeah, fuck. Okay, I think maybe the next bit was the right. Shit, I forget where exactly it went, but there was a bit where we again see like something moving in the background, and it's like it's got to be the xenomorph, but just yeah, loved when the fucking xenomorph was like, it looked like it was part of the statue. I love when they do that. I loved it in Aliens as well. You know, there's this scene where they go into the, like, you know, it looks like a goddamn town meeting, and they go in there, and for some reason, okay, I just gotta briefly vent. There's a non-zero number of people out there who like go on YouTube and say, okay, why did the xenomorphs only start attacking? You know, why don't they attack immediately? Because they start attacking when one of the Marines starts firing specifically on a chest burster. At that point, they perceive the Marines as a threat. That's part of the point of the scene. Up until that point, they were like, whatever, I don't care. They're not a threat. That's part of what's so awesome. They realize we're not a fucking threat. Most of the time, we humans, no threat to the xenomorphs. They're only gonna fuck with us if they're like, you know, okay, this person's kind of in my way, sir. Or like, yeah, if a weapon is fired, especially if it kills one of the xenomorphs, then they start reacting. But other than that, it's like, you know, and like, wouldn't you? Like, the fuck do they have to worry about, you know? They so clearly, so quickly just completely devastate this entire group of Marines. Let's see. I think the but yeah, it was great that it you know, attacks. Right, at one point he's still babbling about noise. You know, dude's like, he's been cut in half. I don't know, maybe he is speaking with a British accent. Maybe he was perceived as homeless. That was not the best wording. Whoever wrote that sign, I'm just saying, or poster, whatever. Yeah. Let's see. I think. Oh, that, yeah. I think that the bit where they find the and like the all the color has been drained out of the blood is gone from these, because like last we saw, the bugs started to drain their blood, and it's been a little while, I don't know, hours maybe. Yeah, by now, you know, all the blood, and the thing like fed so much that it can't even really move. It just falls down and lies there. It's been so greedy that at this point, like, it can barely even do anything. It's just so like, not unlike Trump. But the fuck was he doing on the roof of the White House? Can we please, like, maybe this time he won't pass the dementia test? I feel like there's a certain chance. Yeah. I'm just saying. I don't think this should go without, like, some kind of test investigation, because that he is not behaving in a way that is he's got the fucking nuclear codes, man. Please keep him in check. Please make sure that he doesn't, like, yeah. Anyway, I think this is a pretty good time to talk about. So yeah, Boy Cavalier. Oh boy, yeah, he certainly is a tech bro, not billionaire, but trillionaire in this case. I guess I just really wanted to note, I do agree with Viora on why is this a prequel? Why isn't it like a sequel to the other? Because like timeline wise, but I don't know. I guess maybe they're gonna do something. I guess if everyone, yeah, well, let's see. Yeah, because like the xenomorph was not widely known. They have no idea what they're dealing with in the first movie, and this is set before that. So I mean, I guess maybe they kept it secret because everyone works for the corporation, or maybe it was dismissed as rumor. But yeah, I don't know. I do think if this had been set just shortly after the first movie, because then it's like, oh, in the, because like there's some years between the first and second movie. That's where Romulus also fits in. Yeah, they went back and found more xenomorphs. We see that in Romulus, But anyway, yeah. Boy Cavalier. Oh boy. Cavalier is very much one of these, yeah, like he's I don't know, I made them so that I could finally have an interesting conversation. Not unlike how Musk wants to colonize Mars because he doesn't like being around so many people. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm sorry, but there's better solutions to these things. Like, he seriously can't find someone else to talk to, and Musk seriously can't just, like, I don't know. If there are other solutions, is all I'm saying. Yeah. And also, like, he says it to Dame's face, like, yeah, you're not very interesting. Jesus fucking Christ, what an asshole. And yeah, like this petty squabble with Miss Yutani, and he's like, he's also being very immature. I quite appreciate the way that, yeah, he's immature, and the hybrids are immature. They have an excuse. They're like 11 and 12. He's a fucking adult, and he's not acting like it, So, yeah, and that is something we do see with some of these, and yeah, really appreciate that. Yeah, this scene is part of why I brought up Final Girl Studios video. This thing of like, would they still be human? Is this what we want? Meanwhile, Peter Thiel is like, yes, but Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Anyway, yeah, okay, Yutani's on the line, fine, I'll talk to her, and he's like, let's let our lawyers settle this, we'll reach there'll be a treaty. At one point he's like lying on the bed, he's like holding the fucking thing between his feet. It's just, Jesus Christ. And yeah, you have this thing about, like, she's like, well, this is our property, and he's like, well, it landed on my property, so I don't know. Lawyer up. If you, what was it, like, if you encroach on our territory, that will be a hostile act. So there might literally be a fucking war between these two corporations because they can't fucking share. Jesus Christ. Just, yeah. And again, like, we haven't really seen this exact thing play out in the Alien franchise before, the movies, I mean. I don't, I'm sure there's it's possible that it's in some other story. You know, I've watched the movies, played the AVP games. I think I played two regular Alien games. The arcade game, holy shit, that was fun. Where you actually hold the pulse rifle, and the way you fire the grenade is just like in the movie. Fuck. Anyway, I don't even know if that arcade machine exists anywhere anymore, but that was fun. That was like, I don't know, 20 fucking years ago. So anyway, moving on. It's possible it's been done elsewhere, but here we actually have, yeah, these two corporations just, yeah, fighting, and yeah, you know, now we know, yeah, if, because it hasn't happened yet, but if one of the, yeah, if someone from Prodigy realizes that the cyborg is from, shit, Weyland-Yutani, and is, uh, you know, killing, you know, because like two of the people that he tied up that ended up dead, so, you know, arguably he knew that there were all these, you know, creatures on the loose. Yeah, there's some chance that that's gonna start a fucking war between these two, you know, corporations. Yeah, I love that we only found out about that after we had already seen, because like they could have put, you know, there's some suits in Hollywood that would have said like, oh, you got to put that at the, you know, early in the first episode before he kills anyone, but that would, like, we don't need that, because at the time it was, you know, quote unquote, just, it was him killing these two, or letting these two people die. And now in retrospect we realize, oh, that might actually lead to, yeah, these, like, there might be protracted battles between these corporations. Yeah, and you know, as in real life, yeah, it's the people on the ground that are suffering. You know, he's okay, and so is Miss Yutani. They're just like chilling in their fucking office, you know, like kind of annoyed at the other CEO for not going along with it. You know, note that the government has no say in this at all, you know. Um, but yeah, inside the building, people are dying. Some of them at the hands, yeah. Uh, Fuck, I forget. Did he kill? No, yeah, he killed some people, didn't? Or did he just disable? He knocked them out and tied them up. But yeah, you know, he knew that might lead to their death. He didn't have to save them, in his opinion. Um, so yeah, people are dying to save these killing machines. You know, just yeah. Um, I think the next bit was yeah. So yeah, he manages to, yeah, you know, the Xeno is about to kill Hermit, and you know, it gets like, you know, electricity, you know, and I love that you see on the teeth, like it moves between the teeth, so it went all the way through its body. You know, it wasn't just like the one spot that it hit. You know, I believe right now we do have things that can, you know, send some electricity to just that one spot. But something that actually electrifies the entire thing, holy shit. But yeah, and you know, we the audience knew before seeing it. Hermit, of course, didn't, but yeah, he knocked out Hermit too, because he's not there to save Hermit, and he, you know, sprays the Xeno with this coating, and it digs its way out very shortly after, you know. And it's one of those things, like, if he had been able to get it onto the elevator and didn't have to deal with those, you know, military guys, yeah, he could have sprayed it some more, kept an eye on it. You know, I think there is a chance that he could get it to some kind of containment. But, you know, he's gonna knock out anyone that. Oh, I wonder what the electricity would do to one of the hybrids, because their bodies are different. That might come up later, because he does still have the shocky thing. But yeah, the bit where, you know, the military, you know, show up as like, what's in the bag, a Xeno or something, and you know, like, okay, put your hands out, you know, and he's like, up, it's luggage, and then there's like movement, and like, oh, what the fuck, you know, so okay, hands, you know, hands where I can see him. I'm not your problem here. Trust me, you know. And they see his hand, realize he's a cyborg. He gets out the knife in case he needs it, but you know, and off in the background, that's one thing, you know, we've seen so many attacks by xenomorphs so far in this franchise. You gotta mix it up, and the fact that we, you know, in the foreground we have him, he's taking up a good chunk of the frame, and then in the background we're seeing like movement, and you know, he turns around, sees the dead bodies, you know, really nicely done. Let's see, and yeah, so far really well done on stuff like gore and violence, because it is part of the, you know, it's expected from Alien franchise entry. But yeah, you know, he's not going to be able to catch up to it immediately, and it grabs Hermit. Let's see, what was the other thing? Yeah, so there's at least a little bit more I want to talk about. So let's see, there's the, yeah, you know, Wendy, you know, finding Hermit, and you know, the yeah, the thing about, you know, oh, you're hurt. Where's the cut? There's no cut. We don't even bleed red anymore. We bleed white. Oh, you're synthetic. We don't like that word. I wonder if that's a reference to the thing, you know, I prefer the term artificial person, which, you know, the abridged script points out, you sure about that, James? Don't you think that is more offensive to someone like that? But yeah. But yeah, you know, he has to deal with, you know, he's not, that's again the thing of like, it's you know, I mentioned in my video in the first one, and Alien Romulus, I think, mentioned, you know, yeah, they are, that synths in the movies can be very much read as being on the autistic spectrum, not literally being on the autistic spectrum, but, you know, coded as being. And yeah, there are sadly a lot of people, when they realize they're you know, talking to a person on the autistic spectrum, they get really weird and like uncomfortable, and it's like, they're human beings, like just talk to them normally, you know, like it's shit. I think it was in the Renegade Cut made a video on the virgin suicides, I think, where he points out, you know, sometimes in that case it was boys and girls, but the boys trying to communicate with the girls as if they're from another planet just kind of makes the communication even weirder, more awkward. And yeah, sometimes we all do that. I've done it myself. You know, I'll admit that it's something we all have to learn, and ideally as children, because like it's so much harder to learn once you're an adult. Let's see, you know, it's a proven fact. Children who grow up with a lot of diversity of, like, you know, ethnicity and other, you know, yeah, they grow up to be much more tolerant of such groups because they see them as human beings, whereas people who grow up only watching, you know, movies and shows, the only times they see, for example, black people is movies and shows and like news reports about, ooh, be careful, there's a black guy out there, which it's interesting how they focus so much on black criminals and so much less on white criminals. I don't know, it's because like if you actually look at the stats, it's like, no, you know, they're not actually super, you know, super predators. Anyway, okay, I definitely want to talk some more about that scene. I think I maybe want to mention the right. I really like when I think his name is Kirsch. You know, the Timothy Olyphant character. You know, he's like, I don't care. Wonderful. Yeah. So, you know, they're moving down the hallway, and you know, you have that thing about, you know, so your name is Wendy. Oh, that's her machine name. Her real name is Marcy. My sister's name was Marcy. Oh, that's your sister. Well, you weren't telling him. which is also this thing of like, yeah, sometimes kids, because it's like he doesn't fully appreciate how awkward this situation is, but and you know, kids and people on the autistic spectrum of all ages, you know, yeah, he's like, well, why you shouldn't lie to him though, because just tell him the truth, you know, and yeah, that's a aspect I really respect and appreciate in a lot of a lot of people on the autistic spectrum. They will tell you the truth. They don't want to lie to people. You know, I myself really can't stand people who lie unless there's like a really good reason. Like obviously, you know, if you are hiding Jewish people and Nazis come knocking asking, are you hiding Jewish people? Lying is right, but you know, lying to hurt and upset people is just like just don't do it. Just don't do it. Let's see. You know, and right now, lying to keep ICE from, you know, kidnapping and, you know, deporting. Like, that's the thing. Like, you know, if people from the government weren't talking about, you know, and you know, they're the talking heads on TV weren't talking about, oh, you know, we need this to happen. Every American could hypothetically agree. People in masks and not identifying themselves, kidnapping and deporting innocent people, you know, over like immigration status, over like where they were born, because like we know Republicans have done what they can to make it really difficult to legally immigrate, which means there's a lot of illegal immigrants and now they're being deported, and thankfully a lot of communities are like saying fuck ICE, you know, this is unacceptable. And now they're having some PR problems because like it's not so fucking popular. They actually thought that people were just gonna be like, okay, sure, take my neighbor, take my coworker, take my friend, and just make them disappear to some hellhole. Jesus fucking Christ. They seriously, like, some of these people just have no fucking empathy. They have no idea how, like, people with empathy, you know, respond to things like this. Moving on, yeah, you know, he realized that at first he's very reluctant to believe it, and it is this thing because this. So there's multiple things going on here. He is having to accept that his sister, that he grieved. I forget. I think they said how long it's been, but it wasn't like fucking yesterday. You know, it's been a minute since the yeah. And you know, this means his father lied to him about his sister being alive still, and yeah, now she's right there in front of him, but she looks very different. And you know, it's just, yeah, there's so much going on, and they play it so well, and the way it's written and directed, absolutely amazing. Loved it. And yeah, the thing about, you know, and also right after it's they tell him, oh yeah, you know, this is your sister, she's still alive. Then she's like, I watch you, like, you know, two times a day, sometimes more, you know. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, please don't tell him that, at least not yet. That's something that you build up to. Like, I get, you know, we get why she's doing it, and he might be able to accept it. I mean, by the end of the episode, he seems to be on board with her, but it definitely did put, it was an obstacle to overcome, because that's, yeah. I think that does bring us to the, but yeah, you know, he tests her, you know. What did, you know, first day of daycare, what did you say? What was it? They think me mad. Christmas morning, you were 7, you woke me up. What did you say? I still don't think my big toe looks like my thumb. And again, that's such a 7-year-old thing to say. That's such a, you know, a child would say, because like, yeah, you know, yeah, I'm sure like he said, you know, to her, like maybe the day before or something, you know, oh yeah, that's your thumb and that's your big toe, they kind of look alike, don't they? And she like, goes around thinking, no, I don't really think so, and looking at them and comparing them, and then wakes up really early, what was it, like before the sunrise? So like fucking Jesus Christ, even a cock wouldn't do that. Would even like their cock is out there, like Jesus Christ. Okay, first off, you took my job. Second of all, chill, okay? We wait until the sun rises. That's the rule. And the uh, yeah, he accepts it, and they hug, and it's so fucking sweet. And I really hope they're not gonna kill him off, because this is a franchise that's very, very hard and harsh, and sometimes people that characters that you really love and want to see survive die really brutally, and yeah, fuck. Okay, I think that does pretty well. So yeah, they go to the yeah, they go into another room and they find the eggs. I've never seen them black before. That again reminded me. Fuck, is that a spoiler? I'll just say I've seen black eggs elsewhere. Yeah, they're super fucking creepy. Yeah, it's a good variation on because normally they're that brownish color, and they even have the little laser cover. Good reference to the original movie. Wasn't my favorite part of that movie, but yeah. And I don't really know why it is that people in this franchise, but again, I respect it's just a fucking thing, Like how stormtroopers and that, stormtroopers can't hit, major characters, and obviously that's plot armor. It's not actually that they're terrible shots always. It's just a lot of the time we're seeing them shoot at people who have plot armor. Anyway, yeah, for some fucking reason, there's always at least one person who just cannot resist, like shoving their face all the way up, again, up to the egg. But at least he is pulled away before, because that was also I was thinking, please don't, oh god, not a fucking face hugger, and then we have to watch him die so soon after this reunion. Jesus Christ. It is interesting that the xenomorph grabbed him and ran away, because normally they attack on the spot unless they're taking the human to eggs, and he was already by the eggs, so I don't know exactly what is going on there, but we'll see. But the let's see. I quite like them referring to it as, what was it like? Slightly, watch the omelet. And there's no need to break anything. And yeah, I mean, please do not, crack those eggs. That would be terrible. My father always said, you can't make an omelet. Very cynical man, my father. Anyway, the fuck. It's a great cliffhanger, right? I can hardly wait to watch the next episode. Yeah. So yeah, Wendy's gonna try to get to him, and yeah, with her super hearing, super senses in general, she might be able to determine, and she can hack cameras and such. That was also a great, when they disembark, whatever, the plane, and she's like, oh, that's so loud, because like the city is loud, Some of the Scanners movies explored that. The second one did a piss poor job of it. The fucking third movie, Jesus Christ. I chose of my own volition to watch both of those sequels twice. Just, yeah, like if you're in the right mood for it, they are hilarious. Yeah. I feel bad for David Cronenberg. People always fucking up, making sequels to amazing movies by him. I haven't watched The Fly 2, but I hear it's bad. I might at some point watch it and do a video. If I watch it, I'll do a video for sure. Anyway, what was the other thing? Yeah. That might just about cover the entire episode. Yeah, just phenomenal job. I'm so glad that this is a series, because so far it's justifying the fact that it's not just a movie. I think, does that more or less bring us to the? I think I've talked about everything in the episode. Did I mention I thought they did a really good job with Boy Cavalier showing? I mean, he doesn't really care that much. He does just like he's a kid playing with really expensive toys. He's not thinking about the ramifications, which is what a surfer dude would refer to anal sex as. But yeah, he's just fucking doing it because he's bored. Tech bro was bored and played with fire, and now we're gonna see, because like this, it's one thing to even make the hybrids. He also agreed to let them go on the mission. Yeah, I feel like they're doing a really good job not overexposing the xenomorph or the cyborg. Because obviously you really want to be careful with that, because like they could easily have had like Terminator style, the cyborg is just going around killing everybody, and having the alien just having us watch the alien kill a lot. It does kill a lot of people in this episode, maybe a dozen people total, but it's often off screen, or we only like briefly see it, and that's a good way to keep from it becoming adjusted to it. I think that does pretty well cover. Also, really fucked that the comms are out. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Do also really appreciate another thing. I know Hawley is great at in his shows. As mentioned in my video on the first one, absolutely fucking love Legion. As I also mentioned in my videos on Legion. Technically, part of the reason Wendy was able to find Joe Hermit, that really is a great, Jesus Christ, that they nicknamed him Hermit because his family's dead, and he right now is struggling to form attachments because he's worried he'll lose them too. I think they mentioned also that his mom is dead, so he really doesn't have anybody, and they call him Hermit because it's just, yeah. Anyway, yeah, she found him in part because of cameras. Cameras every fucking where. So, and it's one of those things, like, it's very creepy that she's been watching him. That the first episode especially got into that. But here we also, and at the same time, there's some heartwarming, because she's not like watching him to be a creep. She's watching him because she can't, spend time in the same room as him, which is what she wants most. Yeah, and they did that was clever of them. Let's see, I think they said she was 12. Yeah, a lot of 12-year-olds still want to spend time with their, older siblings. It's one of those things like, let's see, I forget. I heard once what age it is, but at some point in the teenage years, a lot of teenagers will, try to find someone to spend time with that's not family. But I believe it is accurate that a 12-year-old is likely to still gravitate towards their sibling and family in general, because like she has others she could spend time with. There's the Lost Boys. They're in the same boat as her, and she can actually spend time with them. She can actually, like there's a scene in this one where the one where she hacks the robot and makes it say "You're furry what, face your furry what." The Lost Boys are right behind you. Like, go play with them, But I'm not judging her. I'm saying that shows just how much she wants to spend time with him. that she's missing out on, yeah, having fun with her peers. Not Morgan, that fucking asshole. I think that does cover everything. Yeah, they're continuing to do a really good job exploring, the various forms of the cyborgs, synths, and hybrids. How they differ, and because like we see very clearly, like, I'm fairly confident Kirsch is a synth, not a cyborg, but certainly he has that coldness. He's completely focused on the mission, whereas the hybrids have the minds of children and bodies of adults, and there's that conversation about they don't produce hormones anymore naturally, so they don't have that to, so their moods, yeah. Let's see. I think because that is one of the biggest things. I also really appreciate Boy Cavalier pointing out, basically bringing up the singularity. But yeah, the future, we're not. The future is coming, whether we want it or not, and robots and AI. Not always the same thing. Some robots are remote controlled, but they are, in some places they are reality. They will become a reality in many other places. We have to explore, because like that's one of the biggest things. Do we want ones that are just cold and just follow orders 100%? Do we want ones that are, that have the minds of human beings, but their bodies are not human? That is something that we have to actually question. We have to figure this out. And as another thing, I think they're doing a really good job of, like, I don't really feel like any of them are evil. Like, some of them are cold and just follow orders, but that just makes them kind of an arm of the evil corporation. It's the it's the CEOs who are causing this evil, and that's part of, if we are going to, well, when we get more robots, I think it would be good if they don't just blindly follow orders. That's already a problem with, like, military and law enforcement. Them dehumanizing the people they engage with, and being taught so much violence and so little de-escalation. I feel like there was at least one more thing. Let's see. The Yes, so the right, and yeah, certainly the hybrids don't come across as evil, just like awkward. There's the autism spectrum coding of all three types of them, and yeah, let's see. I think that does cover everything. Yeah. Right. When he gets into the elevator, right, the Xeno chases him in there, bangs up against the door. He, like, tries to get on, the comms, and he says, he lays out the situation, and then he says, "Coming." Okay. For TMI, I don't know, just clean up after yourself.